Hey guys, what's up? This is Patrick. In this video, we're going to be playing one table of 200 NL Russian cash. And it's been a while since I've uploaded. Basically, it's been a complete mess in Poker YouTube world, where a lot of accounts like mine have been flagged for violating new rules that they enforced. Not entirely sure what those rules are, because accounts get randomly flagged. Well, we just call here, I guess. So I decided to wait it out a little bit. I'm not entirely sure if things are better now, but still decided to start uploading again, and then we'll see, I guess. I've received one flag, and I can have 3 and then your account gets banned, which is kind of frightening. But I appealed the flag and it got removed, so I'm not entirely sure how to move forward with the channel at this point, but we'll see. For now, I'm just playing one table of 200 NL Russian cash, like I've done a couple times before, and we'll see how things go. I've been playing for a little while. I was recording already, but forgot to put on the audio. So I've been yapping for like 20 minutes and didn't really record anything. Goal of the session is to just try to exploit as much as possible. I think I'm going to open. This is close, but like this guy is not 3-betting enough. Seems to be a bit more nitty. So going ahead and opening this is probably going to be fine. Betting sometimes, checking sometimes. Either way is fine. Here you need to be very careful when he sizes up like this. It is quite alarming. Although it might be recreational. Wait, I'm going to call because it's recreational. But that bet size is not great. Very tempting to just shove now, because I've got... This is kind of silly though. Like, I just don't think he ever calls. It's kind of... yeah. Like I get called like 1% of the time, so who knows what's better, but this is at least 15% more cool, so I decided to take this line. And you get a quick check there. I'm going to win the pot like 80% of the times. Let's say 70% of the times, because like he might have a 10 occasionally. If I shove there though, like he's basically never calling. I think either way is fine. I think this is slightly higher EV, but hard to prove. Pretty standard open with ace-10 here. And we get a cold call from what seems to be a regular, but kind of high gap between VPIP and PFR, so might be some sort of a recreational still. Also because cold calling from cutoff is very uncommon for ranks in these scenarios because of rake. It's somewhat more okay versus a 2x open though, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not entirely sure how many tables he's playing. Out of position here, I'm going to range check on 85% of the textures, and then there's some textures where I range bet. This is going to be a range checking texture. And I will go ahead and check raise here. I'm going relatively small to basically make their pocket pairs indifferent. Pool also overfolds when they step small there, so it's just basically bread and butter type spot. If they step small, they overfold, so you raise more. I'm tempted to squeeze, but I don't think we can do that. Tempting to bet, but yeah, don't think makes an awful lot of sense on a Broadway overcard, which kind of is this guy's card. Not going to have a very high betting frequency, and then with 5-4 in particular, which is like the weakest threshold that we can have, one of the weakest thresholds that we can have, we just need to be very, very careful. So yeah, a very pointy hand. Let's see if someone wants to give us some action. Interesting spot. We could 4-bet, we could call. Either way is going to be fine, I think. I'm just going to go ahead with a call. Decent texture for our hand. Nuts is going to occasionally flop a set here, but realistically we are going to have the best hand. And the fact that our opponent c-bets is very good news. So preferably we get a call here, and well, I don't really mind for him either way. If he shoves, it gets a bit iffy. If he calls, it's like, well, yeah, okay, that's a good card for my hand, but not necessarily for the situation that we're in, because my opponent, like if he has kings through tens or kings through jacks, then suddenly this becomes really, really gross. And he's basically playing it like he has one of those hands. So I guess we just call and then hope for the best. And we get another one, we shove, he folds kings, and we win a decent pot. Oh, that's kind of lucky. I really like his bet size there. I think he played that well versus me in particular. I'm going to bluff raise there quite aggressively, I would say, because there's just enough random pocket pairs in his range that I want to challenge him to defend. Kind of unlucky for him though, like turning top pair, top kicker, where I'd turn top set is just gross. Guy names himself Fish, usually that's a good sign. I'll just bet. I'm going to bet small if he checks. I just wanted him to call every ace. If he has something stronger, he will raise. I don't think he will find bluff raises, because what kind of hands are going to be bluff raising here? I guess you're going to find a random bluff raise with, wouldn't even, like he should be finding stuff like king 10, which we also block. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a hero fold here. This is pretty gross, but I just don't think there are bluffs. There will always be some, but yeah, I don't think enough here. So hope he shows. He doesn't. Limp pot, flopping a set, and here I think betting anything but an overbet is going to be criminal, because I just want to get everything in versus a king. If he doesn't have a king, fine. If he does have a king, we just want to get the entire stack. Especially versus a recreational, right? If this is a regular, then like fine. But if this is, since this is a recreational, like a regular is going to be able to potentially fold some weak kings by the river if I just keep overbetting. A recreational just views a king as the best hand always, and in order to make a king indifferent and to make him make a mistake with a king, I need to go bet big on the turn, shove river, and just wish him good luck. Not sure what kind of player this is, but still going to call. And we will call here. Call. We'll fold river versus a bet here. People don't really like bluffing spots where there are a bunch of auto calls. So even though he would be making, let's say bets half pot, he would be making my hand indifferent. They generally don't pull the trigger in those spots. Besides, I'm not sure what kind of player profile this is. So checking back here is fine, I think. Here we 3-bet and we get a fold. Interesting spot. I think I'm just going to check back and call / raise river, kind of depending on the bet size I'm facing, and otherwise just going to bet myself. And here we're just going to go with 3/4, trying to get a call by an 8 or a pocket pair. Ace high is quite ambitious there. Even on the flop, this is already iffy versus 40%, probably just a fold versus 40% to be honest. This is small enough that we can defend this hand. He should be going a lot bigger. On the other hand, they are going to under 3-bet the big blind, so it should be a bit tighter. It's kind of close, I guess, with my hand, but well, yeah. You can obviously just flop a flush and then things are a lot better. I think I'm just going to bet, to be honest. Like, I just want to get more money into the pot immediately, rather than playing balanced. I'm okay overfolding if I check back here in this particular spot where I get a small 3-bet, and yeah. Anyway, we call here. I could just click it back though. I'll just call. It's kind of a shitty turn. Now I'm hating life. I was really happy, now I'm hating life. I think I got a call turn, fold river or something like that. We get a check, that's really good. Now the question is, do we value bet this? Do we value bet here? I think he's going to shove his ace the vast majority of this time at this SPR. It'd be kind of weird for him not to. He checks relatively quickly as well. I think I'm just going to bet, but it's kind of weird. Easy call here with 10 big blinds in the middle. Very few hands that we're going to fold. And here, pretty much the same thing. Very few hands that we can fold. Turn is a bit iffy. Quite likely recreational. Yeah, I think I'm just calling because of the potential recreational, but relatively tough. People do randomly spew in these pots though, so I think I just call, but yeah. Like, don't really like calling there, to be honest. Like, this is one of those hands where if he has ace-4 offsuit, I'm getting flamed in the chat. And now I look like a genius. Maybe not a genius, but like, now it looks like a good move or whatever. I think the majority of the times he will have an ace here, like more than 50%, but I don't need to win more than 50%, I need to win more than 29% or something like that. So if there's some random stuff occasionally in there, let's say he has an ace 55% of the times, but 45% of the times he just has something random, then it's a profitable call to make, even though the majority of the times we lose. And that's a concept that a lot of players don't get, even in 2025, which is why in a bunch of notes the pool still overfolds. And under bluffs. Easy range bet. Playing a relatively simple game. You could probably go range bet 40. 40% of the pot here, but either way is fine. We will have to barrel pairs somewhat aggressively here. He is incentivized to check raise most of his jack 10, but not all. And I have kings, queens that he doesn't have, king, queen, which he doesn't have at the same rate, ace, king, ace, queen, which he doesn't have at the same rate, aces. The list goes on and on. So basically I have a pretty decent range advantage, and a lot of my hands are pairs already. Not entirely sure if I should be bluffing this at any meaningful frequency or not, but some hands like pocket 7s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s, under pairs will be betting quite often. I think we just check back. We rarely win here. Occasionally he has a weaker queen or something like that, but yeah, he just wins the vast majority of the times there, I think. I was going to say a similar spot as the king 6. I'm really running pure here. Kind of sad that it's only at 200 and now, not at 2k, but whatever. What can we do? We will go ahead and call. We have a minus sweat for a what's it called? A big jackpot here on a 10. 10 of spades. Our opponent could potentially have 7-6, although very unlikely already pre-flop because he's playing very tight. and quite likely he's not 3-betting 7-6, but who knows. I'm going to bet here myself, I think. I'm not going to be too honest with my sizings. It's kind of... yeah, it's kind of whatever, I guess. This guy is not going to exploit my smaller size being weak. In fact, I'll be exploiting the lack of check raises that he will find by just betting bigger with my very strong hand there. And yeah, that's kind of the idea there. In these spots, you always want to ask yourself, am I going to exploit my opponent, or is my opponent going to exploit me? In other words, where does my EV come from? If I want to be balanced there, I choose a small sizing with my entire range. And when I say my entire range, I mean all the hands that want to bet in this situation. Right? So if I have pocket tens with a spade, I might want to bet 40%. If I have pocket jacks with a spade, I might want to bet 40%. If I have, I don't know, like ace 9, I might occasionally want to bet, like 9-10, I might occasionally want to bet 40%. And so in theory, I should probably make sure that my flushes are in this smaller bet size, at least at a reasonable frequency as well, if I'm going to use multiple bet sizes. And then the purpose of that is to make sure that the out of position player is going to not check raise you 40% of the times because you are very capped, but check raise you a reasonable amount. And that is going to be good for your queen jack as well, right? If you get check raised a decent amount there and you bet small, then there's additional EV in betting small. The pool, however, is not going to check raise me as often as they should, and it's not going to be close. So when I'm faced with this check here, I know that he's not going to raise often enough, and so leaving my small betting range unprotected is more than fine there. Opening a bit wider here because of the big blind, and range betting the flop. Definitely betting the turn here. Pretty much with any two players like this overfold the turn massively, so I would be betting without equity as well, probably. Alright, so we'll make this the last hand of the video. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comments down below while we go ahead and see that small here. There'll be a link to our Discord channel, feel free to join that as well. I'll be hanging around there pretty much on a daily basis. And yeah, happy to interact with any of you guys there. Here we are going to bluff the river now. I'm just going to try to make an ace indifferent. We don't really have a lot of showdown value. He's going to have some flushes, which is okay, but yeah. 2 pair, okay. Fair enough, decent call. And then I will say goodbye. If you're playing today, good luck at the tables and talk to you guys soon. Bye.